Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It is Ryan and Jackson here for our friends up at HPI Bet. It's Kentucky Oaks time. Jackson, we are just a couple days out. You and I head out to Louisville tomorrow or the day after. For me, tomorrow night. For you, I think you go Thursday morning. So it's almost upon us. We have a plethora of shows out on the Gallop Out on In the Money Media if you want to check those out. But today, just for you folks at HPI Bet, we already did the Derby preview. And we have the Oaks preview now for you. Jackson, same thing. We got top picks and we have our top long shots. Very competitive Oaks field this year. Top to bottom, it's hard to see who is going to truly go off as the favorite. Zany is our morning line favorite at 4-1. But I think there's value elsewhere, and you agree as well.
Yeah, it's a fun race this year. I think it came up. I don't know if it's like the strongest field of deep contenders, but it feels like last year was just Good Cheer, who was like kind of a standout, and she was good, not great. This year, I feel like there's like 8 Good Cheers in this race, and they all have different running styles. They've been coming from different places. They can all win with the right trip. It's a really fun race, and I also think it's kind of a cool addition that it's going to be run under the lights for the very first time. I'm excited by that. I'm not sure if I'll be that excited by it Saturday morning with a quick turnaround, but at least Friday night, it's going to be pretty cool.
That's right. The Oaks goes off at 8:40 p.m. Eastern time, and Saturday racing kicks off at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So while that is about 14 and a half hours, it's certainly going to be much less than that when you include transportation, sleep, shower, food, and all the other good stuff.
Boo-hoo. You'll be at the Derby. Come on.
Yeah, no, it's going to be fired up. I'm going along with you. You just said you're going to be tired. Whatever. All right. On that note, we're going to go and kick things off with our long shots first before we get to our top picks. Jackson, we're going to start with you. Lovely Gray, Go Gray Stables draws in off the AE with the scratch of the number 8 Bottle of Rouge, gets into the body of the field, 30-1 on the morning line, but is going to take a little bit of money.
Yeah, we kind of been joking all day about she is going to be on my long shot play, and I worry that she might not even be a long shot come post time because we all know that Dave Portnoy loves to bet, and that's great. I love that for him, but it might ruin the price of my horse just a little bit. I think she's pretty live in here, and I like her quite a bit. I'm going to use her in the horizontals. I'm going to use her everywhere underneath. I thought her races at Turfway were pretty good and pretty underrated, and in both of those races, both the stake tries up there, she did not have any pace to run into, and she was coming from mid-pack, back half of the field, and she was trying to close, trying to get to those loose leaders, and they just didn't come back to her enough because they went so slow up front. I mean, she just had no chance. And I actually thought she ran pretty well to try it, and she was gaining on them and just couldn't quite get there. And, the buyer figures are a little bit light, but the time form ones, which I think are better at Turfway where the pace matters so much more. The time form numbers, I believe the most recent one was about a 106, which kind of gets her into the range of what it's, she's got to move forward, no doubt about it, but it's not that far behind. We're only talking about a few points. And we're also talking about a horse that she's only going to win if this thing falls apart anyways. So as long as she's within range, which she is on time form, I think that's good enough. And I think there's speed drawn inside, there's speed drawn in the middle, there's speed drawn far out wide. This thing could really heat up. It's not going to be surprised if that happens. And in that scenario, if she takes to the dirt, it's the biggest question, obviously, with her. But if she does take the dirt and this thing really heats up, I've seen way worse 30-1 shots in races. And I actually think she has got a really good shot.
Yeah, look, she's not impossible. There are certainly worse 30-1 shots. And if you're a guy like Dave Portnoy in the field like the Oaks, you could probably put $250,000 down and not really move the odds when it's all said and done. So, hey, if that's his move, then that's his move. But either way, I don't disagree with you that there are worse long shots to like. And you could argue this horse has not gotten a favorable pace scenario since the maiden breaking performance, second career start at Colonial. She has been chasing slow paces ever since then. The best shot she's had was her first start to her 3-year-old season in the optional claiming event when she lost to Resist. And I mean, again, there's worse long shots, and when we do have a pace scenario in here where it does look like there's going to be some horses that are forward. The 14 Brooklyn Blonde, one of 2 for Michael McCarthy. This one feels like the horse that's definitely got to be forward in the race. Pashmina, maybe a little bit similar, especially looking back to that Gazelle. We'll get to my long shot just drawn into post 12. It'll be post 11 come post time with the scratch of the number 8 Bottle of Rouge. Blinkers off for Bella Ballerina and Brendan Walsh. This ownership group is the same that owned Good Cheer last year, and they followed the exact same progression of races from the Goldenrod to the Rachel Alexandra to the Fairgrounds Oaks, and then, of course, to the Kentucky Oaks. So I'm curious to see how she runs in here. I do think blinkers off is going to be a good thing. I think that she was maybe just a little too revved up in the early parts of her races. I think blinkers off, it typically is done to have a horse relax a little bit. I think that's ultimately the goal. And I do like that work that she had April 24th over this Churchill Downs track. I'm not going to go out and, become one of those workout warriors where this horse had the best workout I've ever seen, or this horse is working brilliantly. These are all grade 1 animals. They should all be working well. I just like to see that they shipped over to Churchill Downs and they got a good work and they still looked like themselves. And Bella Ballerina has looked just like that. So I would say my biggest concern with her for sure is going to be how she factors into the pace and if she's able to really finish that race off the way she should. But I'm hoping the blinkers off maybe shows her a bit of a new dimension in here as one that could come from a little bit off the pace. Jackson, you and I covered the Rachel Alexandra and the Fairgrounds Oaks for our friends at HPI Bet. So we talked about this horse a lot. We talked about how good she could be going into the Rachel Alexandra and then again going into Fairgrounds Oaks, although I think both of us went with a different direction in there. I can't really remember. But as you were saying.
No, I didn't pick her in here, and I'm probably not going to use her. But I do think there is an argument to be had, and I believe we talked about it before, the Fairground Oaks, that she was already in the field for the Kentucky Oaks after she won the Rachel Alexandra. So she didn't have to be 100% cranked up, ready to go, because it's also not like that was a grade 1 race either. Like, she already was a grade 2 winner. They didn't need to win. They just needed to see a performance that was good enough to bridge them to the Kentucky Oaks. I think they probably got that. I wish that she had run a little bit better, but I understand the case for her. I'm not going to try to talk you off of her as a long shot.
Yeah, long shots, crazier things have happened. At 12-1, that's not anything crazy. Lovely Gray, I think, much more of a higher price long shot, clearly. Let's go to our top picks, and we're going to dive down to the rail, and we'll keep it with you, Jackson. Explora coming out of a scratch in the Fantasy Stakes when she got a little bit of a fluke, but has been training up to the race since then. You get the rail, you get Flavian Pratt. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I like her. I wish no, let me take it back. I think people are going to not like the post for her, the one draw, and I don't view it as an issue at all. I actually really like the post for her because we know she's got plenty of gate speed, and we know she's got a versatile running style. We know if necessary, she can go forward on the lead, and we know if necessary, she can sit the pocket. So I think the plan for Pratt's got to be, okay, we'll just come out of the gates running. We'll hold our position, hold our ground for 100 yards, maybe a furlong, and then we'll kind of play it after that and see what's going on around us. I think he's got plenty of options to kind of be adaptable to however this pace shakes up in this large 14-horse field. And that's a big advantage, I believe, over a lot of the other horses in this race who are going to kind of be at the mercy of the trip, of the pace, of the way this thing shakes up. So I think she's got that going for her. I think she's most likely to get a good trip in this race. She also runs some really good races. I mean, she ran really well when losing to Meaning 2 back. Thought she ran really well in the Honeybee last time, beating Counting Stars, who has a big shot in here, and came back to win with a really impressive performance. So I like her in here. I think she's going to win, and I think she's going to win. I think she's the value of the race when we're talking about the main contenders, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, look, she comes in here, and you mentioned the amount of races she had to start the year and how this could be a good thing that she's had some time off to kind of grow and mature, and she seems to still be training steadily and still be the same horse. You mentioned the fitness drills that she's got coming in. She should be good to go. I think Counting Stars is going to be my top pick in here. Coming in here, ran second to Explorer in the Honeybee. I would say coming down the stretch, at one point, she looked like she was 3-5 to win that race, and Explorer really dug in and did not let her go by. So I think at that moment, Explorer was certainly better. And then Counting Stars, who we've talked about, can be a little bit inconsistent, mainly referencing that zero buyer in the Martha Washington. She's now come back with 2 very strong efforts, each one better than the last, winning the Fantasy in decisive fashion over Search Party, who is 30-1 in here. Taken by the Wind is entered in the turf route earlier on the Oaks card. So I don't think that she faced necessarily the toughest field, and she did get a little bit of a cupcake sort of trip in that 5-horse affair. However, she did it the right way. She blew the doors off that field. She improved upon that previous race in the Honeybee. And I think at 8-1, I would say that, to me, that is the value of this race. Whether you want to go with Explorer, 6-1, that's value enough. I do think Counting Stars probably going to be around the same price as Explorer. I would imagine that she's going to take a little bit of money, but I don't know. For handicappers and bettors, I mean, if they look, this this filly's coming in off the field best buyer speed figure. So if they go just off that, there's a chance. But either way, I think her ability to kind of win from wherever she's placed. She's been up close on some easier fractions looking last time to the fantasy, and she came from well out of it in the Honeybee and, was turned away in the end. But I do think that the stretch at Churchill Downs is going to help. She's been training for about the past 5 weeks, obviously, up until this race. So I do think she has a large chance in here. To 8-1, I'm more than willing to find out. And I'm just now seeing she's Triple Crown nominated, although I don't think we will see her in the Preakness or the Belmont. But
you never know with Cassie. Cassie's not afraid.
True. That's true. He's not afraid, and he is certainly willing to take a shot, as are we, as we're fading the favorite in Zany. Jackson's top pick going with Explora, his long shot. The AE now in the body of the field, the number 15, Lovely Gray, and myself, I'm going with the number 4, West Point Thoroughbreds, owned in partnership, Counting Stars, trained by Mark Cassie, as well as my long shot, Bella Ballerina, for the boys in blue. That is Godolphin. Thank you guys for joining us on this road to the Derby and this road to the Oaks. We will be back with you guys next week as we continue this road. This time we're following the Triple Crown. So it's Road to the Preakness, Road to the Black-Eyed Susan, and then, of course, Road to the Belmont comes after that. So for Jackson Muniz, I'm Ryan Anderson. Thank you guys for watching, and good luck this weekend in the Kentucky Oaks and the Kentucky Derby.